Sopranos Season 6, Episode 21, the series finale of The Sopranos, the very controversial episode, Made in America. So basically the whole fade to black, no real ending to The Sopranos, what's this all about? And of course it's the David Chase kind of basically saying to the audience, Tony Soprano will go on, the characters will keep going on, The Sopranos will keep going on, and Tony will keep doing what he's doing, but as an audience member, it's your time to stop. So basically, fade to black. We've stopped watching, even though the show will keep going on. That world will keep going on. And basically, of course, I wasn't a fan of it at the time, because basically David Chase did something that no other TV series will ever be able to do again, with his old we're gonna keep going on, but you guys are gonna stop kind of idea. And basically it's almost like people will argue that it is a sellout, but at the same time this is what The Sopranos is about in a lot of ways, where Tony is not going to change. Tony is not going to be a better person. Tony is not going to have a major arc like a Hollywood arc where you start in one place and you end up in another place. Where yeah, he does have those arcs, but they're really kind of like sinking down arcs. They get worse and worse and worse. So going back and watching this episode, it was so anticipated. Like you're watching it, you're over analyzing the episode because you know it's the series finale and you're trying to figure out what all these meanings are. But going back a few years later and watching it again, it actually is a pretty good episode, because it's very much in the Soprano style, and it tells what the journey is. And so basically what this episode is basically about the end of Phil. Tony keeps going on. He's going to be the mafioso boss. All these new mafiosa guys are around Tony now, like a whole new kind of generation of his team. And the only ones who are left standing from season 1 is Paulie. Paulie, the tragic comedic character, mafioso guy. So all these guys are gone. Silvio, Christopher, all these guys are obviously Pussy. The list goes long and long. Bobby Bacala and Ralphie and Richie Aprile. All these guys are dead. But Tony is left talking to Paulie outside Statue Real's, drinking a coffee, and basically keep going. He's going to keep going on with what he does, and he's not going to change. He doesn't have his therapist anymore. But in AJ, the whole storyline where AJ, basically Tony knows that he can't get in the mafia life, and AJ needs to have some sort of direction. So he helps AJ get into the movie industry, which is also the common shot that David Chase basically keeps telling us, is that the movie industry is just like the mafia, and AJ is going to basically be in the movie mafia. Whereas like Tony will do the mafia, and AJ is basically will basically like do what Tony does, and he'll have his therapist, and he'll mull in his self pity, and he'll complain about his job, even though he'll make a lot of money, and he'll do what Tony does, but just in a different realm, and he won't evolve as much. And whereas AJ will basically keep like what Carmela does, and keep the possessions going for as long as possible, because then he doesn't have to think too much and can keep going on with his life. And that's what The Sopranos is about. It's basically a metaphor for capitalism. It's a metaphor for the American dream. It's a metaphor for society in general in the 21st century, about where we're at, and the whole legacy theme of the last episode, of like what you're doing to the new generation. And basically what it's telling what Sopranos did is that it's the whole Italian roots, where it's like they're blue collar guys and they want a white collar lifestyle. So to become a blue collar guy and having a white collar lifestyle, you have to do some corrupt things. And the whole question is like for them to rationalize is that they're just as corrupt as the corporations are. They're just as corrupt as the Wall Street guys. They're just as corrupt as that, and they're just doing what everybody does for their family, whatever that means. And of course it's not that simple, and that's what The Sopranos is about. It's about a guy who's pretty smart and pretty aware of things, and and he has the ability to like confront his fears and confront his conflicts, which if you really think about it, most people don't have that ability. And he's a guy who basically is corrupt, and he will keep going on and keep moving forward, because that's what he does, and he has those attributes, those survival trademarks to do that. So Made in America, final Sopranos episode, fades to black, and I have a feeling that they'll never go back to this, but you never know, because I think that 2012, I'm doing this 5 years after the review, and the whole bizarro Sopranos world, Tony's probably still doing what he's doing and not in prison anymore, and Paulie's probably still alive, and they're probably still going, and probably Tony got a new Melfi therapist so he can talk his shit to, and AJ's doing well in the movie industry, and Meadows a lawyer, and Carmela's just buying stuff to keep her own guilt, and everybody's is moving on. Nothing has changed, and that's what David Chase is trying to tell us. That's my review.